Good morning. I like you crawl in. You're like, good morning. Cool. Love that.
But holding it apart.
We'll do 2 games.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Good to see you.
Test, test.
Women? We never really have like this. No. Yeah. But that's also Thanks for joining us, Master John.
How are you? Yeah? Nice to meet you. How are you? Yeah? You guys went to speech yesterday? Oh, were you the boss? Alright, I'm off.
I'm not safe from anyone. Arsonists! All of you! Thank you. Not like this. You do something. I'm so strong in this direction. I think I'm just going forward. Honestly. And there's one sucker. The other one sucks. No, there's one sucker.
I'm
Someone's gonna be sick, right? Who wants to run slides today? Abby? You're in charge of the announcements. You can't do slides. Abby, you want to do slides? Abby, come do slides. Well, I already did. Abby, I'm a slide maker. All right.
Hello, everybody. Hello, if you can hear my voice, come take a seat. Thanks, Jesse.
Jesse did it before all of you.
Good to see you on a Sunday, Jesse.
Going into your Discord status yesterday saying playing Fortnite.
Did somebody use a Fortnite mask? I'm assuming it was someone from Wednesday because everyone was being crazy on Wednesday.
Y'all were insane.
Yeah.
I missed it. I'm sad.
All right, today. Hello, everybody. Hey, man.
Wow.
First announcement is that the Padres swept the Dodgers the other day. I just wanted Daniel to know.
Second
case you missed
announcement. Josh doesn't even root for the Padres, he just roots against the Dodgers.
No.
Don't allow that type of negativity in your life.
Once the Yankees are out, I vote for the Padres. But before we get started, we got some different things today. It is a special Sunday, and you'll find out during the announcements why. But before we do that, I'm sure you guys have noticed this meme that's been up here for like the last month.
We need a new meme.
Leah's turning the mic down with her mini hand, but
It's very handy.
um.
Got him!
Our very own Henry Matisich decided to make us some memes. So we're gonna go through
With
them,
your tiny hats.
and we're gonna take some group votes on which meme should be on the screen for the foreseeable Sundays and what things I should post on the social media pages and stuff. And then if you guys make your own memes, send them to me, as long as they're not bad, and then we can vote on them in like a month from now when these memes are good to go. So here's the first one. I don't know if you can read it. Here, I'm gonna turn out the lights.
I really like
That's literally what I just did.
So good.
Got him.
Leah, when you don't sign up for camp.
Boom.
Why?
Roasted.
Nice.
Tyler, that was us.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Oh, we kept the Club 45 in high school. Okay, whoops. Guys, this actually says when you don't go to church,
Oh, yeah.
and then literally everyone in middle school. All right, nice. Let's go to the next
Too
one.
deep into it.
So many good ones. Mm.
What is it? Wait.
Okay, we got a little chuckle out of this one. I'm liking it.
Wait, is that because of Josh?
What?
Josh is the one on the right, right?
Yeah.
I'm anything that's not middle school. Sure, not in middle school. All right, let's keep going. Nice.
Good morning, Sophia! Got her.
Guys, you know who Henry McBride is? He's a high schooler now. I feel like when he drives, this is how he's gonna drive.
Exactly.
If you guys know anything about him, he loves driving fast. All right, let's keep going. Middle school's the best. Changed my mind. Classic. All right, let's keep it rolling. Did I go 45 better middle school? Oh. Henry.
Henry's savage.
All right, let's go to the next one. This is my favorite one right here. I hope you guys all vote for this one because it's fantastic.
The girl
School, sports, staying home, and life groups. Nice. Oh, we got an at legend here. One does not simply skip church. Legend. Okay, let's go to the next one. Middle school rules. LOL. What are the rules? We don't follow them. Let's keep going. Middle school. I think that's the last one, right?
No, wait, there's one more.
Oh, there's one more. This is the best one. Middle school 7th grade boys. If you know, you know. All right.
If you're a 7th grade boy,
You know.
this isn't funny.
Oh, which one did we think was the best one?
This one.
No, the group. The group.
Maybe we should go back through.
Should we go back through and do like a little
Group tally.
hand vote?
Yeah.
Okay. So for the Sunday morning ones, it'll have to be like one that says middle school or something. So something like this wouldn't work because it's not a
That needs
wel-
to be our life group.
it's not a welcoming thing. Yeah. When I start sending parent things for life groups, I'm just gonna send this. Okay. Let's just go backwards. How do we feel about this one?
Yeah.
It says middle school. That's what it means. All right. That was a decent yell. Okay, how do we feel about this one?
Boo.
Boo. All right. How do we feel about the... Nice. I like this one.
Yes! Watch
Okay. Next one.
Please shift to church.
How do you feel about this one?
it!
This one, All right. Next one. Oh yeah. We're gonna clap.
Clap, clap.
Yeah. All right. This is the one to beat so far.
Yes!
All right. Okay.
No.
All right. Good to know.
You should write Henry McBride on the car.
Yeah. Henry's car. All right. Let's keep going.
Yes.
All right. All right. Let's keep going. This is a good one. This one will go in the newsletter this week to sign up for camp, and this one sucks. Okay, so we got a tie between like the
Bernie?
Bernie and the what was the other one? The big buff dog. It seemed like
No,
the
it was group.
Gru.
Yes.
We're not going to use this one. We can't make fun of other things. Okay.
You have to email it to me though. It's the best one.
Oh wait, it was the legend one.
Yes. Yes.
But starting next week, Legend's name will be taken out.
Yeah.
Is it still good without Legend's name in it?
No.
No, sorry. Okay. How are you feeling about the Bernie one? Good, or is it just me?
Honestly.
I think it's just me. Whatever. We'll figure it out some other time. Okay, let's go to the next thing. I think we got some announcements. Cool. Camp's coming up in a couple.
This isn't your job. It's an outside hire, Josh.
I said starting next week.
You're not in charge of announcements.
Didn't I say starting next week? Do you want to do announcements? She wasn't prepared.
Oh, I literally thought you were talking about camp next week. I wasn't listening. I'm sorry.
Wait, what?
I wasn't listening to you. I didn't realize you were talking about Monica.
What are you talking about?
I thought you were talking about camp. I was like, I thought you were just going straight into it. It
Yeah,
doesn't
camp is in a
matter.
couple of weeks,
We're
and
super
Monica
close.
will do announcements next week.
We're 2.5 weeks away from camp.
Yes, 2.5 weeks away, July 18th. Is that 2.5
2 weeks
weeks?
from today.
It
3
is.
weeks from today.
That is insane. So in a couple of weeks, we're going to be up 1,000 times. A good amount of you are signed up because Leah sent out a big email. We got some good feedback. But all the information is on the website. If you need scholarships, there's a scholarship form on the website as well. You can send that in to Leah and she'll get it, make all the big girl decisions, and we'll go from there. So, camp's gonna be super fun. And we have a quick video to show you because we haven't started in a while. So you're just gonna hover over and press play, and then we're gonna watch a quick camp video.
And council on. I feel joyed up and excited to just start packing my bags and heading up the mountain. I get so excited for camp because I love competition up here. I love thinking. It's a feeling you can't miss when you're off that bus. I really love to rock both lines. I like the go off-roading.
I love the soccer tournament, basketball tournament, volleyball, football.
I love paintball. Probably, obviously this year, my number one thing was going to the lake.
And then obviously the mall shop.
Recreation park.
Okay, this is the cheer we're gonna do. Here, get some face paint on, get ready,
Thank you.
and hearing the music when you get inside and just going crazy.
There's like really nothing that I don't like. Like, just even like the ping pong table or like sitting at the mall shop and talking, like it's everything.
Thousand Pines is amazing.
Thousand Pines is indescribable. Thousand Pines.
I am in love with Thousand Pines.
Nice. Guys, I've seen that video like 30 times and it still gets me a little bit excited for camp each time.
A little.
Cool.
Just a little.
Well, it's because I kind of know what to expect already, but it still gets me excited, which says a lot. Cool. Make sure you guys sign up for camp. If you have any questions, send me or Leah an email or pull us aside after church today because we got only a couple weeks and we're gonna watch the game. I'm just kidding. All right. Youth group, Wednesday nights from 6:30 to 8:30. We've been hanging out in the gym and then coming and hanging out up here and then going right back to the gym, all right? So come hang out. We've been doing a lot of cool stuff and you guys get to hang out with your life group still. And it's still kind of a life group and youth group mix and it's just super fun. Cool, let's go to the next one. Water Day, this Wednesday. Instead of youth group, we're having Water Day instead because water's fun and it's hot outside. So bring $5, bring a change of clothes, a towel, and we're gonna eat some food and go down a big water slide, like over there somewhere in the courtyard. So that'll be super fun. Oh, big new announcement, all-nighter. Wow, can I get a round of applause for all-nighter? Yeah. So this all-nighter is the official camp prep day. So we're gonna be doing a bunch of camp-related style things, give you guys a little insight of camp, what camp will kind of look like. Obviously not exactly, but we're gonna play a bunch of games, stay up all night. We're gonna be here from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. And you're gonna bring $5 so we can give you guys snacks and food, all that kind of good stuff. It's gonna be July 9th, okay? So write that in your calendars.
Jot that down.
Everyone know what day that is? I think it's a Friday.
How people are actually doing it.
Not next Friday, or not this Friday, but next Friday is when we're doing it, okay? So write that down. It's gonna be super fun. This is the first event that Lee and I were gonna do pre-COVID. And then as we were getting ready to like pass out flyers, we had announced it 1 week on a Sunday, then we got shut down and I cried for like 2-3 weeks.
We talked about it for weeks, guys.
So,
We actually don't have.
All nighter is gonna be very exciting. It's gonna be super fun. So make sure you guys get signed up for that. All right, I think we got a couple more announcements. Worship team. So today we're not doing any music, but the last couple of weeks we've been doing some music with Mr. Gabriel. And he wants you guys to be part of it if that's something that you guys are interested in. So if you need his contact information, you can ask me or Leah, or you guys might already have it, okay? And you can also find it on the website, just like everything else. Cool, sounds good. Sunday service, this is a big announcement. Starting next week, we're not meeting at 9 a.m., okay? We're meeting, or in here, yes. Forgot about that. We're gonna be meeting at 10 a.m. in the worship center, okay? So, for the rest of the summer, and then they're gonna debate about all the stuff after that. We're gonna be meeting at 10 a.m., not 9 a.m. There's only one service, so if you missed the 10 a.m., go watch it online, all right? Yes, Jesse? The worship center is like the main big building where all the adults go. Cool, any questions about that? Like, do you know what's happening next week and what time we're not gonna be in here?
So are we just gonna listen to the adult service basically?
Not basically.
Yeah, we're gonna have a big combined service, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, so next week, to kick everything off, we're all gonna be in the worship center the full time. But what our new schedule is gonna look like is at 10 a.m. every Sunday, all of us are gonna be in there. If you came to VBS Sunday last week, that like front right pew, that's where we're gonna all meet. So middle school will always sit together. If your parents are like, sit with me, that's fine too. But what we're gonna do on Sunday mornings is we're gonna start with musical worship with all the adults, and then we're gonna break off and come up here. So next week, we're in there the full time, and then every Sunday after that for the rest of the summer, 10 a.m. we meet in there, and then at around 10:15, we're gonna walk up here. So when in doubt, check the worship center first during the summer. If it's after 10:15, just come straight up here.
Yeah, did that make sense? Or need to repeat that for anybody? Good?
Oh yeah!
Starting next week, 10 a.m. full service, but the week after that, we'll still start at 10 a.m. in the worship center, make our way up here. And then regular, good old service. Cool? That was it. Cool. So, since we don't have any music today, we're gonna play like 100 games. I'm just kidding. We're gonna play one game, and if we have time, we'll play a second one. But this game's gonna be pretty simple. We're gonna watch a quick little intro clip. This is a fun little intro graphic that somebody took a lot of time on. Worst summer ever. Guys, the summer is officially here. So we're gonna play a quick game about things you don't want to do in the summer. But you're gonna have to decide between two bad things. Like, what's the better of the worst? So, we're gonna go to the next slide. So there's the main slide after all that's said and done. We're gonna go to the very next one. Here's the instruction. Summer is awesome, but there are certain things that could ruin a perfect day. You're the captain now. I'm the captain now. And must decide which option is worse. Okay? So we're gonna start the first one. You guys are gonna stand up. And if you think the thing on this side of the screen is worse, then you're gonna run to that side of the wall. Maybe the opposite, you're gonna go to that side, okay? So the first one, which is worse? Your right flip-flop breaks on day one. This is assuming you're on vacation. This is over here. Or you realize that your hotel wasn't actually clean from the guests before. All right, so make your way. Which one is worse? Go to what you think is worse.
Honestly, I literally told Josh, I was like, I don't trust hotels, so I'm guessing every time I go in there, it's gonna be dirty. But this one, I was like, I just be crazy.
All right.
Are you kidding me?
Look who's around you, because
I can't go on vacation.
yeah, you have to look who's around you, because when you start planning your guys' vacations, you're gonna have to know who to bring and who not to bring, right? All right, here comes the next one. On this side, your car breaks down on the way to the beach, or on this side, you lock your keys in the car on the way back from the beach. This is it. All right. I'm making my vacation friend list here based on your guys' answers. All right, this is everyone's final answer? Cool. Let's go to the next one. On this side, the hairy old dude asks if you can help him apply his sunscreen, or your dad decides this year is the year to try Speedo. What do you think? Hairy old dude's over here. Hairy old dude's over here. Everyone would rather see the dad in a Speedo than applying sunscreen to the old dude.
This is nightmare material.
Okay.
Worst summer ever.
All right, let's go to the next one. The concession stand mistakenly puts mustard, not cheese, on your nachos.
Yeah.
It's over here. You drop your ice cream cone up to the first lick. Over here. What is worse? What is worse? It seems like everyone's kind of going in the same group. It seems like the same groups are just walking together in different spots. All right, let's go to the next one. Which is worse? You get stung by a jellyfish and have to pee on it. True. Or there are no swim red flags. Beach is closed for one day. This one was kind of tough. I don't like this one. All right, let's go to the next one. I don't like that one. Okay. Summer camp is full, so you have to register for knitting camp. We know where Leah's going. And your mom brought your family matching swimsuits. Knitting camp or matching swimsuits? This is tough.
No. Christmas 2017, 2018, 22-year-old Leah and her 25-year-old brother had to wear matching outfits with our parents. And I looked at my mom and said, why are we like this? Obviously, my brother and I walked it, but we looked like miniature versions of my parents, and it was terrifying. I saw my teacher. I'm not gonna lie, Mama B looks pretty good, so I'm not that.
Well, we know Leo will be at knitting camp. Where? All right, let's go to the next one. It rains for your entire vacation. They end up spelling your tattoo wrong.
No,
All right.
honestly, I love rain, so.
We have a lopsided answer there.
I would actually prefer that to no regrets. No
All right, let's go to the next one. Your room key never works. Your room key never works for the hotel door. Somebody pooped in the pool. Oh yeah. Walk to the side you do not want. Whichever one is worse. All right, let's keep this rolling. Your best friend cancels on you and you have to take your cousin. Your friends forget to unbury you from the sand.
Suck it up, Buttercup!
All right, let's keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. You fall asleep while reading a book and now have awkward tan lines. All right, are we ready? You fall asleep while reading a book and now you have some awkward tan lines. The lifeguard yells, stop running, even if you're walking slow.
It's worse, but it's so much.
All right, next one. The wave pool will only start when you're not in the water.
Oh, yeah.
Any chair you sit on will eventually break.
Are you helping that?
I'm not. I can't speak for the game.
Honestly, when I go to the movie,
I'll take up 7
All righty, let's keep it going.
Ryan and I are on the same page.
How many more are there? All right, Abby. Ready? You always have a handful of sand in your pocket. Your mom starts a conversation with one person in every store. That is the worst. All right, let's go to the next one. This is the last one. Which is worse? Forget to sign up for camp or let middle schoolers run a Discord chat. Which is worse?
Already happening.
I'm gonna come to this side for this one. Yeah, join our Discord chat. Or don't, actually. It's everybody. Okay. Okay. Everyone take a seat. All right. We have a game that I've been hyping up for a long time. It's not as good as you guys are going to think it is because I've been hyping it up. Where's the little mini hand?
Who is on the stream? Me.
Yeah, can I have the hand, please? And you can just.
Legend, get out of here.
Okay, almost.
That could have been really cool, but it wasn't.
Also, Guys, while I'm looking for the hand, if you didn't pick up a blue paper on the way in, go get one right now. Go, 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 go. It's just so your parents know the dates of the all-nighter and all the other good stuff.
Daniel, wake up!
Oh, was that the last one? Okay, Finn, I can get you one. If you guys didn't get a paper, I can get some more, okay? You're good. All right. So do you guys want to do? All right. Do you guys want to do boys versus girls, or do you want to like split the room here and your team is like one side?
7th grade boys beat everyone!
No. We'll just split the room in half. It'll be easier, okay? So whichever side of the pole you're on, that's right behind Annika, that's the team you're on, okay? No. Don't be moving now. Once you move, you're done. Okay. So this game's called Find the Acorn, all right? This is a very popular game that my old youth group I used to volunteer at. And they used to have a big acorn tree, so there's always acorns laying around. But we don't have one, so I have this little mini hand, okay? So what's gonna happen is two people are gonna be blindfolded. Leah's gonna hide the hand somewhere in the room, and your team has to yell and scream at your teammate for them to go find the acorn. But they have to be blindfolded the whole time, okay? Do we have any blindfold volunteers? Oliver and Brady.
What's the next?
Okay. Hey Leah, could you come blindfold for me?
Yes. Disappointment's $10.
What do you say?
Oh, catch the people, Jacob!
Oliver's on our team, Brady's on that team. Wow.
Brady, how many feet is the rest of you? 17. Got him!
Okay, Brady and Oliver, turn around a little bit. Okay, so just gonna make sure you're not cheating. Leah has 30 seconds to hide the thing, so everyone pay attention. They have to be able to reach it. So, okay. We can make it as crazy as you want. Okay, Oliver, follow me. You're gonna come over here, and then Brady, you're gonna come over here because you're gonna be on your own team. Okay, if you're on Brady's team, make a little bit of noise so he knows some voices. Just go, All right, Brady, that's your team. If you're on Oliver's team, make a little bit of noise. Okay, so what's gonna happen is I'm gonna count down from 5. And you guys are just gonna start directing them on where to go. Does everyone know where the acorn is? /1? If you don't know where it is, listen to your own team, okay? To be honest, I don't know where it is. So, here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Put your hands up, put your hands up. Don't touch, don't touch, don't touch. No touching, no touching. Great job. You guys didn't even have to move very far. All right, you guys can take your blindfolds off. Do you have any more volunteers? Jesse? Anyone from this team? Hannah? Sorry, Hannah. Hey, Hannah. Hannah, I'm gonna get you next round. Abby. I'll take that one. Do we trust Jesse to do his own blindfold? Yeah, but you're gonna be on. Yeah, you're You'll be on this team over here.
Just do your best. It's nowhere.
Wait, who's on
Give me his hand.
Okay,
She just.
here's some guidelines. You guys can't touch the people, okay? So, you guys have to be a little bit. Everyone look at me. Okay? Does everyone know where it is? Okay. Abby's on the left side. Jesse's on the right side. We're gonna start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. You guys can walk with them, you just can't touch them. You can walk with them.
Abby just impaled herself.
Okay. Everyone walk with your hands out. We learned this in BBS. Better chance. Oh wow, that was fast. Nice. Nice. Safe. You guys gotta pay attention to where the thing goes. Do you want to do one more? Hannah and Annika. Nice.
Boys have John here somewhere.
On your way?
Yes.
Okay. Leah's gonna go hide it. Everyone pay attention to where Leah's putting it. Olivia.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Alright.
So true.
Okay. Are we ready? Are we ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Got a good ball. Got a good ball going. That was awesome.
Who's gonna touch it?
All right, guys, let's give Hannah and Annika a round of applause. That was epic. All right. I think we're done. Right on, I gotta go. I don't really trust the boys.
Here's the trade-off. Josh and I will go, but you have to fully pay attention to the sermon, okay? Okay. Because we're running late. Somebody fully pay attention.
Hey, Annika. What do you think? I want to give it to one of the boys by the next one.
Can we let a girl hide the hand?
No. Yeah, okay, wait. Hey, girl, you can hide the hand if I get to host. Sure. No.
No one wants to.
They're going to win.
In 30 seconds. You'll have to do it. Yes. It better not be a closet. It's not. Does everyone know what the hand is?
Everybody hand.
Girls for Leon, boys for Josh. Girls versus boys. Good luck. 1, 2, 3, go!
Thank you for hosting. Honestly, you don't know how hard it is to get blindfolded until you're blindfolded. It's tough. Well, thank you guys for participating. If you guys did not get one of these, either write the dates down or I can get you a new one later, okay? Just find me after church, okay? Sound good? All righty. Here comes Leo. Do you have your mic?
Okay. Hey, you guys promise. Keep your promise. This is actually a really good test. So today, fun fact, I wrote the wrong sermon. So, go team. It takes a lot of talent to be this much of a hot mess. So, yeah, so I wrote the wrong sermon today. It still has, it's on topic. It's not like our session was like, we go from like God's characteristics to, so let's talk about the planet. You know, that's not what I'm doing. But I picked the wrong characteristic for the day. Okay, full disclosure, I am very scatterbrained today. One of my best friends, his mom is, she's dying. And so the last week has been very, very heavy. And so I think in my heart of hearts that I need to hear this today because it's just that moment of going like, I know I'm super old compared to you guys, but I'm like, Ryan is my man. Literally, like in the scheme of things, like I'm super young. You know, I'm only 25. Like I've only we made a deal that if Josh and I went, that you guys would be respectful. So far. Okay, so I think this is not the first time this has happened where I've like messed up my sermon schedule and then it ended up being something that I really needed to hear, so I'm very looking forward to this. Who can tell me what we have been talking about? Because we had, what is it called? VBS Sunday last week, so it's been kind of weird. Brian, what have we been talking about? Characteristics of God, I love it. Who can name some of the ones we've talked about? Sophia. Slow to anger. Hannah? What? Abounding in love. I love that you guys always start with the ones we haven't talked about yet. It's like we have talked about slow to anger, but the one we haven't talked about, Hannah's like, I know. Abounding in love. I'm like, dang it, that's what I'm supposed to talk about this week. Any others? Gracious, love it. You got this. Dude, you're honestly killing it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Compassionate.
There you go.
I love it. Any other last minute moments? Where is it? Okay. Actually, you guys got them. So we had compassionate, gracious, slow to anger. This week was supposed to be abounding in love. All right, we will do that next time. And this week, we're going to talk about faithfulness. So here's the thing I want us to think about in the beginning. I want to hear, when you hear the word faithfulness, like instead of not looking it up in a dictionary, don't tell me the dictionary definition. When you think of faithfulness, what do you think of?
Like that you're faithful to God so that you are loyal to Him.
Perfect. Loyalty. I love that. Jesse? No, honestly, a second loyalty. I feel like that's a pretty consistent when you hear trustworthy. Great. Beautiful. So the reason I ask these questions for you are not to make you sit there and go like, okay, that was my answer. I want us to see, like, we all have similar answers for a reason. When we hear trustworthy, we automatically assume, like, if someone is trustworthy, that means that there's someone that is going to help you out, that you can count on them, that they are someone who is a person of their word. If they say they're going to do something, they'll do it, you know? Just like you guys promised me if we play a game, then we would be respectful during the sermon. I trust you. So today we're going to talk about God's faithfulness. And we have a video, so we're going to watch that, and then we're going to dive into what is this idea of how do we be faithful to a God who is as faithful to us.
If you try to describe what God is like, it can be difficult or daunting. But when the people who wrote the Bible pondered the mystery of God, they consistently described God's character in this way: compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, overflowing with loyal love and faithfulness. We're going to look at this last characteristic of God. It's the Hebrew word emet, which can be translated as faithfulness or even truth. It's related to another word you've probably heard before, amen, which is an untranslated Hebrew expression meaning that's truth. So emet can mean truth, and it can refer to correct ideas or concepts. This is because emet has to do with stability and reliability, like when Moses holds up his hands for hours to defeat Israel's enemies, the Amalekites. His friends put a rock under him and support his hands so that his hands will remain emet, or steady. When emet is used of people, it describes reliable and stable character, or trustworthiness. Like when Moses appoints leaders in Israel, they're to be people of emet, people who are trustworthy, who won't take bribes or distort justice. So to say that God is full of emet doesn't just mean that God tells the truth or stands for truth. It means that God is faithful and trustworthy. This is why Moses calls God a rock, saying that he's faithful, just, and upright. He's saying that he can trust God to be consistent to his character. And the Hebrew word for trust is actually the verb form of the word emet. It's he'emin. It can be translated as to believe or to have faith, but most basically it means to consider someone trustworthy or to trust. The first person we meet in the Bible who considers God to be trustworthy is Abraham. God makes a promise that Abraham and his wife Sarah will have a huge family, and and that through them, all nations will experience God's blessing. But Abraham and Sarah are really, really old, and they've never been able to have any children. And yet, in the face of these challenges, Abraham means God. He considers God trustworthy to open a way forward. And God does show Emet to Abraham and Sarah. In just 4 generations, their descendants form a whole nation called Israel. And God invites Israel into a trusting and faithful relationship. And when God leads them out of slavery in Egypt, Israel means in God. They trust and rely on him. But when they come to the land God promised to Abraham, and they find out it's filled with giant cities protected by giants, their trust in God's Emet fails. But eventually we meet an Israelite who does trust God in the face of giants. It's David. He yells at the giant, "You come with a sword and a spear, but I come with the name of the God of Israel." David consistently relies on God. In fact, it said that David walked in Emet before God. So David considers God to be faithful and responds with faithfulness. This is why God promises to raise up a faithful descendant of David, whose kingdom will endure forever, or in Hebrew, have Emet. This faithful king will become the source of trust and stability for others forever. But when the kingdom later collapses, the Israelites find themselves without a home and without a king. And they cry out, "Oh God, where is your loyal love that you swore to David in your Emet?" They're accusing God of abandoning his promises to Abraham and to David. Is God trustworthy? Is he faithful after all? The first line of the New Testament is an answer to that question. This is the lineage of Jesus the Messiah, the son of David, the son of Abraham. In other words, through Jesus, God fulfills his promises. Or as Paul says, Jesus came on behalf of God's faithfulness. He is the faithful king whose kingdom will endure forever and who invites all nations to trust God. Now, trusting anyone is risky. It's hard to know if anyone is really full of Emet. But the biblical story portrays a God who's been faithful all along, and whose promises were fulfilled in the story of Jesus. And so as we look out at the obstacles facing us and our world, we're invited to take that same risk and join Abraham, David, and the people of God in trusting that God is overflowing with faithfulness.
I'm like trying to reorient my thoughts. So I think one of the hardest parts about us having faith in God is to trust that God has faith in us. That God is being truthful, that God, when God promises something to us, it's going to happen. And so whenever I have these moments of like, it's not necessarily, I feel like doubt is kind of a heavier word than I'm trying to get at, but more so it's this moment of going, but me? Because I have these moments where I compare God's faithfulness and who God is and the characteristics I know of God to people and experiences I've had with humans. Because that's my closest like orientation, you know what I mean? Like it's the easiest thing for me to do. When in actuality, like God is basically nothing like us. We're created in God's image, but our characteristics are not perfect, whereas God is. So today we're going to be in the book of Isaiah. Isaiah is one of my favorites. It's very long. It's very beautiful. It's like kisses, right? I've been super into Chef's Kiss the last few days. Have no idea why. Just go with it, okay? But the thing I love is, and it's definitely not John, is when I was in high school, like near the end of high school, my identity kind of shifted. I played basketball all throughout high school. It was like literally my identity. It was who I was. I played travel ball. So like anyone who's been in a sport of any kind, when you do club or anything like that, you literally do that sport year round. Like you're always going to trainings, but, and this is also for art forms. Like if you are a musician, you're constantly having to practice. If you are an artist, you're constantly having to hone your craft. There's nothing we do in this world that we can sit there and go like, if I don't practice today, it's not a big deal. So in high school, that's all I did. My identity was basketball, going to church, and being good at school. Like, those were my 3 things. Near the end of my senior year, it was that moment of going, oh, I'm not going to be playing basketball once I graduate high school. That's not going to be who I am. So who am I? And so I had this like huge faith crisis as well that kind of went hand in hand where I was going, well, then who is God? And the biggest influence in my life at the time, one of my mentors was like, Leah, read Isaiah 53 all the way through. And I was like, that's a whole chapter. That's a lot. Where am I supposed to put that information? And they encouraged me. They were like, no, it's not super long, but once you read it, get back to me. And I love it when people do that. When they don't tell you fully what it is, they just tell you to do something, knowing that it's going to be best for you. And you're kind of like, again, having to trust them that what they're doing is going to benefit you. Right? So she was asking me to read the Bible. She wasn't asking me to jump off a cliff. So it was a pretty safe bet. It was going to be good. You know what I mean? So we're going to open up the book of Isaiah. We're going to be in chapter 53, and we are in verses 1 through 6. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just going to read it. Here we go. So it says, who has believed our message, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? He grew up before him like a tender shoot and like a root out of dry ground. He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him. Nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain. Like one from whom people hide their faces, he was despised, and we held him in low esteem. Surely he took up our pain and bore our suffering, yet we consider him punished by God, stricken by him and afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we are healed. We all, like sheep, have gone astray. Each of us has turned to our own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. Let's pray. Gracious and holy God, I thank you for your faithfulness. God, even though sometimes your timing is befuddling, God, I pray that we recognize your faithfulness long term. That God, even though in the moment it feels like you've left us, God, you remind us you are always with us. I pray that you speak through me and may my words be a form of worship to you. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Who can tell me who was just described in that passage? Anna? Jesus. Who can tell me if Isaiah was in the Old Testament or the New Testament?
Old.
Ryan? Amen. I heard you. Okay. Isaiah is an Old Testament prophet. When did we start talking about Jesus? Boom, Jesse got it. New Testament. So what makes this passage so weird? Just say it, because I know you're all thinking it. Jesus wasn't around yet. Like, we're not talking about like, oh, isn't it so crazy? This was like right before Jesus died. Like, no. Guys, between the last book of the Old Testament and when Jesus was born, they say it's between like 700 and 1,000 years of silence. So we're not talking like, oh, no, it's so cool. Isaiah almost knew Jesus, like he knew Mary. No, we're talking generations have gone by. Hundreds of years pass from when Isaiah describes who Jesus will be, physically, in society, how he's going to be viewed, and then on top of that, why he's going to die. So we're all sitting here going like, can you imagine? I sit there and this is the moment where I just kind of like I don't get it. Imagine being alive during the time of Isaiah and being told this is who our Messiah is going to be, and you're like, that dude? The one you're talking about that's going to die? He's going to be your Messiah? Nah, we're good. It's like, whatever. No one took Isaiah seriously. They were like, dude, you don't know anything. He goes, I literally talked about this morning, and this is what God said. And they're like, no, we don't trust you. So God literally tells Isaiah, hey, I've already talked to Abraham, he knows the deal. I've already talked to David, he gets it. Like, that's that lineage of literally between generations, God always put that staple of the Messiah will come through your line. Literally, the world will be saved through one of your descendants. And we keep getting reminded, it's like these checkpoints, right? So then we get to Isaiah and God goes, hey, dude, I don't think they believe me anymore. The kingdom has fallen, they're now back in Babylon, things are kind of crazy. So I need you to remind them who I am and the promises I've made them. So that's when we look at this moment and we see Isaiah is describing perfectly who Jesus will be. So God promised hundreds of years before of who Jesus would be and what Jesus would stand for. Can you imagine being someone living in that waiting period? It's that moment of going like, okay, I know this is what you said, but what you said versus what you were doing are completely opposite. Have you ever had someone make you a promise like, oh yeah, no, we'll totally do that. Or, oh no, I can totally do that. And then you check in with them later and they're like, yeah, it's not gonna happen. And you're sitting there going, oh, I trusted you. Like, think group projects. Whenever you have someone in a group project, they're like, no, I've got this. And you're like, sick, you've got that. Day of the presentation, they're like, dude, why didn't you do that? And you're like, yes, that wasn't mine. That's yours. And they're like, no, that wasn't mine. And then you guys all have to share a grade. It's terrible. So the fact that I would just sit there and go like, does God really mean what God means? Hey, gentlemen, you're distracting me again. God's timing is very frustrating. It's one of those moments where you can kind of sit there and either you're like, oh my gosh, I love the suspense. This is so fun. It's not killing me at all. Or you're sitting there going, I think this is me very much going, hey God, I know you created the world and like time and stuff, but like you're really not at this. So if you can like, that'd be great. And then God is kind of like, you know that meme of the guy at the football game where he's like the bald dude, he's just like, that's what I picture God doing whenever I go like, hey God, could you like, I don't know, do your job? He's like, seriously? You woke up this morning, you're woke up, what do you want? Exactly, like just sitting there just going like, seriously? I love it. I also like to think that God, like when I was a kid and so my brother and I were in kids therapy and our therapist was always like, you seem like you have a lot of emotion. I was like, and she was like, you know what, whenever you get mad at your brother, what you should do is scream into a pillow. So whenever I see this, I picture like little 4-year-old Leah walk into her room and I would be like, and just start screaming in my pillow. It was great. So anyway, literally, because I've probably been crying. It's been great. So honestly, my brother and I are good now. Oh Lord, when we were kids. So again, the reason that I talk to God like this, the reason that I have these moments of going, hey God, could you, like do your job, that would be great, is because I have moments of doubt. Because I'm comparing God to people who have let me down, that have promised me something that I would normally, sometimes I ask for very extreme things that don't make any sense. But when I ask for simple things, like RESPECT, respect, and I don't get it, then I'm just sitting here going like, I thought we had a deal. And so it's the same thing with God as I sit there and I go like, well, these people let me down, so why wouldn't you? But then I have to turn back to Isaiah 53 and be reminded that hundreds of years before Jesus was even on the scene, before his parents were even close to being born, before his great-great-grandparents were even born, God reminded us who Jesus would be and what Jesus would do. God's timing may not be ours, and it may be very, very frustrating to sit there and be patient because it's like, I know what needs to be done, but I can't do it. I can't rush the process. I have to sit here and trust God's faithfulness. Now, we're very lucky because we're on the other side. We're like 2,000 years out from the crucifixion. Like, we got to see the whole resurrection, like jam. We got to go through the early church, like that whole thing, very exciting for us. But it's still that moment of going, even though we know that God has done all of this and more before us, we still don't think it's happening. Because it's not happening in our lifetime. Remember that old thing where they're like, hey, Jesus is coming back, and we're like, when? Like, the early church talked about it all the time. They're like, he's gonna come back tomorrow. And here we are many tomorrows later going, when? So 2,000 years post-Jesus, right? Like, we're like sitting here going like, all right, so when is this gonna happen? But I wanna remind you, Abraham was like thousands and thousands of years ago. Like, I'm not even talking just 1,000, like we're talking like upwards of 5,000 years ago. If God fulfilled God's promises to Abraham 5,000 years ago, why are we any different? Abraham wasn't perfect. Honestly, Abraham was pretty messed up, like not a very nice dude. But the thing is, Abraham trusted God's plan and followed God's commandment because he believed in God's emet, God's truth. Humans may not always be trustworthy, but God is. Even if it's in the little things, you guys, where you sit there and you go like, you know what? Today I didn't sweat outside my shirt. I literally was able to keep it within. That's a big win for me. I'm a very sweaty human being. Don't look at my armpits. They're always going to be down during the summer. Don't worry about it. But little wins where I sit there and I go like, you know what? I didn't get exhausted walking up the stairs today. Fitness. Isn't that nice? Thank you. What? But I want you guys, as we go throughout this week, my challenge for you this week is to look at the little moments of faithfulness. Right now, I genuinely could use a lot of prayer because, again, my friend is going through a lot. I can't imagine losing any of them, like any, as if I have like 30 of them. I can't imagine losing either of my parents right now. And he's having to deal with all of this. I am trying to be a faithful friend to him right now. Whether it's bringing him food, helping out his family, however I can do that, even just physically being there, just being a presence. If I can do that in my imperfectness and my desire to take a nap at 1:30 in the afternoon every single day, spoiler alert, I have to do that every once in a while, I can trust that the creator of the universe, who has promised me from beginning to end, that I was created not to be harmed, but to be cared for, that although this moment is really hard, and it's going to continue to be tough, and it's probably going to get a little bit harder before it gets easier, God is good. And God is faithful. God is faithful to the Jepson family. God is faithful to our friends. God is faithful to you. So this week, I want you to look for those little faithfulness. Whether it's someone keeping their promise, whether it's you keeping your promise, remember that all of these characteristics of God are in you. So let's pray. Gracious and holy God, we thank you we are made in your image. I pray that as we go throughout this week, whether it is a week of complete joy because water there, or if it's a tougher week because, life, I pray your presence is overwhelmingly clear. That God, even if this week doesn't go our way, that God, you are still faithful. You are still here. You are still working. You still love us. I pray that we are a community who cares for one another in times of joy and times of toughness. But God, most of all, I pray that we are a faithful community. Shape us and transform us this week. In Jesus' name, amen. You're seen, you're needed, you're loved. Honestly, you guys gotta get out of here. It's 10:15, so. Hey-o!
Bye, guys.
Yeah.